All right, so here we are today. We're going to talk about Steven Johnson. And rightfully so, Steven Johnson came up with a pretty interesting concept, one of his books. This one is Where Good Ideas Come From. And it's pretty interesting. He touches bases about a lot of different things, but something that kind of hit home today. So a woman comes in for a meeting, her and her business partner, and they're discussing an app idea that they have, and they've actually already started the idea. And I'm not going to, because it's not fully developed, I'm not going to get into the specifics of it with respect to the business, but it's pretty interesting. It definitely, 100% is an idea that's going to take off and run. And it's a billion-dollar concept, 100% a billion-dollar concept. Now, the cool thing about this and the interesting thing about this, and I want to break this down, oftentimes, and Steven Johnson explains this, oftentimes we're not the only one that comes up with an idea globally. And he's actually proved this, not just theoretically, but actually proved it throughout the book. And one of the instances he gives is with Henry Ford and the advent of how vehicles are manufactured, even very similarly today. So this was, I don't know, he's working on this early 1900s and puts this into fruition. And guess what's happening? The same thing is happening over in Germany. The same thing is happening over in Japan. So systematically, how is this possible? How can people that are halfway across the world come up with similar ideas at precisely the same time? I don't know. Is there a download that takes place, and then all of a sudden we have this barrage of all these ideas that are now people are scurrying to make them happen? How does it work? Not my point. The point, and very seriously, is that take two steps back. A friend of mine in Atlanta, with Del Early and with a business partner of his, Cabral Thornton, they came up with an idea called menu meals. Now, menu meals is 100% as to what you know of today. This was many moons ago, but what you know of today as Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub. These guys came up with this menu meals concept, and it worked. It was doing well. But due to financing and just things that happen in life, in the life cycle of a business, they didn't proceed with it, and they didn't end up selling the business or anything. But obviously, this idea was already in full-fledged, to go to a restaurant, pick up the food, bring it to somebody's house, and have them be able to access this all via an app. Back then it was more so the internet, but obviously this would have turned into an app idea. Now, we know that apps for phones were being developed around that time, and we know that, like I said, it was all going to become an app sooner or later. But the idea and the thought process behind all of this is the woman that we met with today, well, her idea is, it's a good idea. Like I said, I'm not going to spill the beans, but this idea is going 100% to be a billion-dollar idea. And her developing it and getting it in place, her and her business partner and the people that are associated, her team, the people that are associated with making this happen, they have to be wary. They have to know, wait a second, there are other people on the planet that have precisely the same idea, that have precisely the same concept, and probably are working within the same margins. We know that there are three main, and we've talked about this before, but we know that there are three main resources: people, money, and time. So the constraints that we have, usually entrepreneurs or developers or people that maybe aren't financially situated to be able to just take an idea, boom, and then here we are. How quick can we get to market? And we've talked about that, getting to market. We understand things take time. It takes time to get that first round of funding in place. But before you get there, do you have some sort of angel investor? But now, with everything that we have at our disposal, from AI to all of the different kind of additional resources that we have to make things happen, Steven Johnson is going to have to rewrite this book, and he's going to have to start to incorporate all of the nuances of the different components that we have at our fingertips to make things happen. So what does this have to do with anything? Why am I talking about this? This is kind of an approach that we take when we're us as an organization. I say we, my team, of course, as we've talked about before. We have the record label, we have the management company, we got the restaurant services in our restaurant group. We have a number of different businesses. We have the film company, and we have our publishing company, and all the things that are going on along with that. It's very important for us to make sure that we identify talent. We identify people that we can partner with, people that can help us get our products, our services, our concepts to market quicker. And then also for us to take advantage and recognize opportunities, because when opportunity strikes, you have to be quick to answer, quick to be able to pick up the phone and get that deal done, or take advantage of that opportunity as to whatever it is. So a lot of different people believe in a number of different concepts. We have we've talked about Warren Buffett and his partner Charlie Munger, and these guys have been doing business for longer than a half a century. And Warren Buffett says, listen, you can't have your finger in your mouth, your thumb in your mouth syndrome. You can't sit there kind of stuck and not knowing how to react when an opportunity presents itself. And another thing that he says, and he said this quite often, and I actually sent a number of quotes, different quotes from Buffett to my team the other day, and he talks about in one of the quotes that he kind of references in a number of different ways. When everybody else is excited, that's when you're scared, and you kind of, not necessarily scared, but you kind of sit back and you kind of absorb everything and observe from afar. But when everybody else is timid and everybody else is scared and everybody else is in sell mode, that's your opportunity to strike. That's your opportunity to take advantage of a big opportunity. So here I'm looking at this particular, this I don't want to call it an opportunity, but this particular situation. And as a business person, I identify, and I want to teach you as we move forward to do the same thing, but I identify opportunities. And sometimes people go, oh, Tip, I don't have any money to be able to, well, first of all, let's not say you don't have any money. And next of all, recognizing, easy for me to say, recognizing an opportunity is not something that costs any money. To use your eyes, use your ears, and recognize potential, recognize an opportunity. It just takes being observant, and then being able to, as we talked about before when we talked about Jack Canfield, being able to barter. As Jack Canfield said, I need to find somebody else to cut my grass because I don't have time to do it. I don't have money to pay the person to cut the grass. What does the person cutting the grass need? So how can I find an opportunity within an opportunity to get something done that I want to get done? In this case, maybe we don't put cash out to participate in this opportunity. Maybe the opportunity is not even available for us to participate in. But when we recognize that there is a possibility, one of my mentors says, possibility of conversation leads to possibility of action, which can lead to possibility of results. So these conversations take place, and then we'll see what happens from there, and I'll definitely keep you posted on that. But definitely check out Steven Johnson. It's a good one. Where Good Ideas Come From, The Natural History of Innovation. Gives a lot of great just perspectives and his insight, and I like Johnson a lot. I like what he does in a number of these different books. But this is a good one. Steven Johnson, Where Good Ideas Come From, The Natural History of Innovation. Okay? We'll talk a little bit later on in the future here. We're going to discuss some different things related to business. As we've talked about before, not always business. This is about the better and better life. This is about the pursuit of the better and better life. What things can we do to stay on that road for that life that just progressively keeps getting better and better? All right? Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Talk soon.